Okay, the next sample we are going to make is the zigzag closed seam. It says I need to cut out a 5x5 square. I already have done so. Just like the past few samples, the first direction is saying to take that square and cut it in half, then to go ahead and join right sides together. So I'm going to cut this in half. My right sides are together. They are kissing one another. So I'm going to go ahead and cross off on my directions that I have done those steps. The next direction says to line up the edge of the squares with the 1/4 inch mark, which is the side of the presser foot. So I'm going to go ahead and do so. So I've lined up my fabric with the 1/4 inch mark, which is also the side of the presser foot, and I'm going to sew from one end of the fabric to the other, not forgetting to backstitch. So I've lined up my fabric with the 1/4 inch mark or the side of the presser foot. I'm going to go ahead and check my settings because the sample I've done before, my settings were a little bit different. So I'm going to make sure that it's at 5. I'm at 1-2 stitch. My stitch length needs to be at 0 to sew. Remember, anything past that is a zigzag stitch. My needle up and down, and my stitch length at 2.5. Once all my settings are correct, I can then go ahead and sew the 1/4 inch or the side of the presser foot and not forgetting to backstitch. So again, I am following the edge of the presser foot, which is 1/4 of an inch. And then don't forget to backstitch when you get to the end. Make sure my take-up lever is in the up position, and then you have a 1/4 inch seam. Okay, so I went ahead and did my 1/4 inch seam. I'm going to go ahead and cross off that I did those directions. The next direction is now asking us to take both flaps and set your machine to zigzag. So your stitch width should be at 4 or 5. So I'm going to go ahead and change my stitch width to 4 or 5. I'll just do 4.5. And then with the flaps together, you're going to sew a zigzag line from one end to the other, not forgetting to backstitch. So I am going to be sewing a zigzag from this end to this end. I'm going to make sure I do not cross over my stitching line. I'm just going to do it in that little area. So I am going to line up my presser foot, and that indentation dash that's in the center of the presser foot, I'm going to line it up with the center of this to make sure that my zigzags get into the right place. So I have lined up the center indentation dash with the center of between my stitching line and the edge. I'm going to go ahead and sew a zigzag stitch with both my flaps together, and I'm going to backstitch. I am making sure that my center line is in the center at all times. You will need to go slow. And don't forget to backstitch. Once my take-up lever is up, I can go ahead and take it out. I now have my zigzags, and they should appear on both sides. In order to iron it, you are going to open the seam, and you are going to push the seam to one side, and you are going to press it to one side. It should not be in the center, standing up like this. So you push it to one side. Once it is pressed, you can bring it to your paper and staple the sample there and move on to the next one.